Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in the playoffs, 4 teams remain. 2 continue to San Francisco and 2 go home. Welcome to the WGLNA. I'm Joshua Gray.
And I'm Randall Holcomb. This is it. This is it right before San Francisco. Last 2 teams, and it could be anyone.
The last push, the last hurrah for some of these teams tonight. And this is an excellent bracket and an excellent finals that we're preparing for in San Francisco on March 15th. First of all, let's take a look at what happened on Tuesday night with our matches. First of all, we saw a 5-0, and that was quite a 5-0 coming from Simple Tankers over Top Tier, followed by I Love Lamp 5-2 against Fear. Fear had the first battle victory, but I Love Lamp was able to come back and dominate that series.
They just proved absolutely how dedicated they are to making it to San Francisco and maybe even being our champions this season. After that, Elevate and Roulette, a 5-3 match where Elevate came out on top, and Elevate, another team that has defied expectations and really stepped up this season. They will be joining us today. Hammer Time, Simply Irresistible, 5-3 Hammer Time, showing that they are stable as ever.
And the table, the last freshman team we'll see besides I Love Lamp, was knocked out, but a very impressive run for them for their first time in the Gold League. Hammer Time, proven team. They've made it to finals events before, but they still have to get through Elevate, who is looking awesome at the end of Season 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff bracket of where we stand right now. Simp and the Cunninghams, because they were the top 2 teams at the end of regular play, are automatically seeded into the final event on March 15th. Simple Tankers and I Love Lamp will be our first matchup tonight. The winner will move on and face Simp in San Fran. Followed by Elevate versus Hammer Time. The winner will move on to face Cunninghams, and the 2 victors from those series will move on to the finals. $171,000 is at stake for the prize pool for that event.
Oh, don't forget about all the honor and glory of just victory.
Well, there's a lot of that as well, and a lot of these teams have a lot to be proud of, but there can only be one victor. Let's take a look at some of the matches, actually all the matches that happened on Tuesday night, starting with Simple Tankers versus Top Tier. Prohorovka, the Kings, have been crowned once again when it comes to Simple Tankers. Beautiful, organized play. Top Tier really couldn't make a dent in the pushes, the aggression, and the calculation coming from Simple Tankers.
Even when Simple Tankers was off of their timings, even when they couldn't quite execute as perfectly as they wanted to, they were still so good at Prohorovka. Then, when it came to steps, a map where Top Tier really did stand a chance of trying to come back, Simple Tankers had already taken it. They'd already won before that last battle had started. They'd won because Top Tier, they'd already been demoralized. That many losses in a row, 4 on the first map. You go to the next map, you can't keep up. Simple Tankers is motivated. They feel good. They are on the groove. Top Tier, just nothing they could do.
Nothing they could do. We'll hopefully see them return in Season 6 and try to put some things back together. I Love Lamp versus Fear was the second matchup that we saw. I Love Lamp was able to get the victory, but Team Fear at the beginning started to dictate what was happening when it came to the pace of the battle. They took the first win, but I Love Lamp bounced back. Then it was tied up at the end of this map, and this team was really close until I Love Lamp reached further, and I think it came down to preparation.
Yeah, it was definitely preparation when it came to Ruinberg. Ruinberg, where I Love Lamp's strategies were just catching Fear off guard. They didn't know how to respond, or they weren't prepared for that style of play that I Love Lamp is really starting to separate from the rest of the herd. Bringing E25s at times, little weird things like that that just throw everyone else off because they're used to responding to more comprehensive, normal strategies.
And it was so well hidden. We mentioned that. Baby Halo had that tank hidden behind the bushes. They could not find it. Some blind fire hitting towards them, but that 25, it's working out for Baby Halo so far. Moving on to Elevate versus Roulette, which was quite the series because Elevate was down 1-3. Roulette was really starting to dominate. Steps we saw coming from them. And then Elevate on Himmelsdorf, being down 1-3, had to attack. They broke the defenses twice from Roulette, and then after that were able to successfully defend. I am very impressed with Elevate's performance, knocking out the previous championship team, most of the championship team based on the changes that happened. But I feel that Elevate can really go toe-to-toe with Hammer Time. It could be anybody's match tonight.
Yeah, and Roulette has started looking so good towards the end of the season that Elevate, being also a team that has really stepped up so much, and after the second half of the season really proving to us how solid they're playing, we're able to overcome Roulette in that 5-3. It wasn't close enough. Roulette just could not keep up. Elevate was also able to keep their cool against an opponent who was matching them in those battles.
And the last series is Hammer Time versus Simply Irresistible. And even though Simply Irresistible loved the idea of every time I mentioned turning the tables or deck of cards or everything that we were mentioning them, hey, they can take that as they will. But when it comes to the performance, Hammer Time had this on lockdown. Simply Irresistible made him work for it. Hammer Time scared us a little bit with Overlord Prime's positioning happening on Ruinberg.
And this one with Big Cheese. I assumed he was going to be gone in an instant, but Hammer Time was just brutal the entire time. Consistent, almost like this slow lumbering giant that was unstoppable the moment they got close to you.
And the scary part, too, is you would see the strategy fail, and we're asking ourselves, why are you sending Overlord to this section of the map? Why is this happening? Why are you taking these type of precautions that the enemy is not doing? Well, after they did it a second time, they executed way better. Then everything clicked, everything made sense. And if Hammer Time still has more of those type of strategies up their sleeve, then Elevate definitely has to watch out tonight. Well, Randall, with all the different strategies that we do see, there's one that we hardly ever get to see, and that's a lot of the Tiger tanks. We see Tiger 1s here and there.
But not Tiger 2s. They just don't make it onto the battlefield. And, well, there's a few little reasons why.
Yeah, let's go ahead and check out the Tiger 2.
Here we explore tank facts about the Tiger 2. The Tiger 2 is named after the Tiger 1, who was named after Shere Khan from the Jungle Book. Its full name is the artist formerly known as Panzerkampfwagen. Wow, this is really German. Tiger Offs B, but it now goes by the Bengal Tiger or King Tiger by the ladies. The tank sports a top speed of 38 kilometers an hour. And, whoa, this tank is on fire. Is someone going to put it out? I don't hear any sirens. Is there a firefighting tank? Would the water be sprayed out of the gun? The Tiger II was first used in combat during the Battle of Normandy, and was later used in Operation Panzerfaust, which turns out was not a pork-themed barbecue. It weighed almost 70 metric tons and bolstered 180 millimeters of front armor. The view range of 390 meters allows for long-range fire, except for this guy. Wow. How could you miss that? So if you're ever in the jungle and you come across a King Tiger, make sure to have some fire at the ready. That goes for any tiger or anything else in the jungle.
Even though the Tiger 2 may not make an appearance in 7x54, well, it's highly unlikely. It's still a fun tank to play, and the German tech tree is definitely one people want to check out when it comes to that firepower and engineering.
You know, Simple Tankers did bring it once.
They did.
They could do it again.
They could.
Get your hopes up, everyone. I'm going to raise your hopes falsely just for that tank.
I think a lot of people will be excited to see it, but we want to see the best tankers be able to perform the best that they can. That's where we're going to see possibly a lot of the same lineups, nothing against that. But when it comes to preparing to defeat the best, preparing to defeat Simp, a team that struggled a little bit towards the end of the season, this is the same team that won a championship and has been in second place for multiple seasons. Not somebody to be messed with, not somebody to underestimate, and that's what these two teams are going to try to do tonight. Win and then face Simp in the finals. Let's go ahead and take a look at the journey of Simp to the finals in San Francisco. Simp is a team that has been a dominant force since the very beginning.
At this point, the momentum is just building in favor of Simp.
Right now, Simp is dominant, and they're not going anywhere.
To quote Laps, as we quoted earlier on, Simp carefully plots their wins. They plotted themselves into the finals in every season.
Going into Season 6, I won't be playing World of Tanks as a full-time competitive pro player.
I'm not saying that they're untouchable. No, they're not. We've seen them fall before. Timed Out versus Simp is our second matchup, and there cannot be a better example in esports of a David versus Goliath right now. Timed Out at the bottom of the standings out of all 16 teams. Simp at the top, currently undefeated. Crossing the shot, crossing the planes, missed shot from Enrique Dante. Sets, takes it down, Raul, cinches a shot, and that's it. Timed Out. The last team in our standings defeats Simp in a tiebreaker. I don't even know what to think anymore. Now, Simp is no longer undefeated, but Simp bounced back against their loss from Timed Out and steamrolled Cunningham's 5-0. And that's it. I Love Lamp does it. I Love Lamp beats Simp 5-3 in this series. Impeccable play from I Love Lamp.
It really is. Simp is not seeming nearly as dangerous
as we've judged them to be earlier in the season.
It's a tough time for Simp. It's not the hardest of times, obviously. I mean, other teams are having a hard time, but
we can't know that. We can't know that this isn't really just that rough. This could be one of those ones, but it's hard to speculate as to whether or not they're falling apart, they're in decline, they're just having a rough time, everyone's catching up. I think mostly everyone's catching up.
Simp wins, and Simp will be going to San Francisco in the auto seat, the auto berth, if you will. Congratulations to them, but on a bit of a low note, having to get it through a tiebreaker victory.
All right, we have the Cunninghams leading the way with 36. Behind them, Simp in second with 33. These are the two teams that will be automatically seeded into our finals at Folsom.
Simp definitely had quite the journey to make it to San Francisco, but they're locked in, and they're ready to face whoever's going to win this next matchup of Simple Tankers versus I Love Lamp.
Yeah, and then after that, of course, we do have Elevate Hammer Time, another matchup where they're going to be fighting to fight the Cunninghams.
Yeah, and the Cunninghams had quite the journey as well. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Say, hey, they're about to do this, be ready, and then they'll do it, and I'll be like, yeah, see, told you so. Or they'll be, no, we don't need to go reset cap, and then, oh, look, we lost, really. You know, maybe next time you should listen to me.
We're seeing a classic style of Cunninghams. Dodoma cruising around the corner, fires it, he gets it. Dodoma is on fire in the T49. Well, the Cunninghams, a veteran team, joining us since the very beginning and looking very, very good so far. Currently undefeated. There goes Swipple, and there goes Vode, and that's it. The Cunninghams close the series 5-3.
But Cunninghams, with some mistakes today, was still able to come over. I think they were lucky against this kind of an opponent. If this were against someone else, someone who was like a Simp or Arbus kind of a thing, Hammer Time, this would not have been a win for the Cunninghams.
Cunninghams are sitting very, very pretty right now. They achieved a tiebreaker victory, though, over Noble, which this sort of dilemma is happening to the Cunninghams over and over again. They'll be behind. They'll fight their way back, but they have to fight their way back to a tiebreaker and then get the victory. Hit from Dodoma. Fej moving in for the crash and the kill. Fej is on fire this series, and Simp takes it 5-0 over the Cunninghams, the #1 team Simp. 5-0 second place Cunninghams. Cunningham still in second place, still looking great. Tough time against Simp last time, but in a great running to bypass the playoffs and make it to the finals. They need another win tonight, though, to maintain their position. Cunninghams are able to dictate the rest of the battle, and they take the victory 5-4 in the tiebreaker. Cunningham's the #1 team right now in North America. Now, if the Cunninghams lose and Simp wins, there will be a tie for first, but as we mentioned before, because of the head-to-head, Simp will then be our first place team at the end. Still on the run, German gets a nice shot. Commander J is plowing into Makos, and that's it. The Cunninghams win 5-4 in the tiebreaker, and that does it for the regular season, ladies and gentlemen, for Season 5. Well done by the Cunninghams. They locked it in, and they got the momentum they needed to get the victory. Very significant achievement for the Cunninghams to be the #1 team when it comes to the end of the regular season. Barely overtaking Simp, and now with a really good seed at the finals in San Francisco.
Yeah, just a few weeks ago, I thought it was one of those impossible things. We were not going to see it. It was just too far away. It was too just insane to think of, but it actually has come about. Yep. Just like about everything else this season.
Simp's
really.
no longer untouchable. No team is untouchable. Ladies and gentlemen, Simple Tankers versus I Love Lamp. Elevate versus Hammer Time. This is it. This is the last hurrah for two teams. The other two will move on to San Francisco. The first matchup of Simple Tankers versus I Love Lamp begins after this. Stay tuned. One team a veteran of the Gold League, the other a freshman class team, the last freshman class team for this season. Simple Tankers versus I Love Lamp. It's going to be a great matchup tonight, Randall.
Oh, it really is. Absolutely anything could happen.
Anything. Absolutely anything can happen from both these different teams. And we want to hear from you on social media. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at WGLNA, Facebook.com/WGLNA, and make sure to use that hashtag WGLNA so we can find your tweets and put them up on the broadcast.
And of course, don't forget, question of the day, which is, what was your favorite moment from Season 5 so far? Goomba's amazing comebacks.
Huge comebacks.
Sick plays by Commander J.
Eastside pushes on Cliff with the T49s.
Okay,
that stuff was fun as well. Well, seeing the T49s in action with those running and gunning moves
It's
a
the
lot
East
of fun.
Side thing that he really
I
loves.
know, right? I know. If you've been with us for a long time, guys, East Side still lives. The face-off is ready between our two team representatives from Simple Tankers and I Love Lamp. Gentlemen, good evening.
What's up?
Hey, we're live. Let's do this.
We are live. Let's talk with Jay Smooth first. Jay Smooth, you have had quite the journey from last season, being knocked out of the league and now back with one match away from joining us in San Francisco. Is the pressure higher than ever before for tonight's match?
No, I think the biggest pressure we've had is when we're on that live stage playing for the cash. So it's big right now for this season. We've been there before. We're feeling good. We're ready for tonight's match. I'm hyped, ready to go.
Let's check in with your opponents. We have Baby Halo standing by from I Love Lamp. Baby Halo, this has been a wonderful journey for your team. First time in the Gold League. Now you're one match away from joining us in San Francisco. But you're the last team that joined us for the first time, the last team from the freshman class. What's it like to have made it this far?
It's pretty cool. It's awesome. We didn't know how far we'd make it this first season, and look at us now. Just this battle stands in the way.
Only this battle stands in the way for you, Baby Halo. Anything you'd like to say to the men that are standing in the way to Simple Tankers before we start?
Not really. I feel good. Got several matches on Tinder, so I think that's good luck.
All right, Jay Smooth, any words to say to your opponent?
No, we're ready to go. Time to show up or blow up. Let's get hyped. And I hope to rub the lamp the right way tonight. Get it going.
All right, best of luck, gentlemen. We'll see you on the battlefield and in the danger zone. Thanks, gentlemen. Well, Baby Halo, he's in good spirits. He's in the zone right now.
I think Jay Smooth looked really confused, kind of like, what did he just say? What's that stuff?
Make sure to place your bets, ladies and gentlemen, right now in Twitch chat. It's real easy. You always start out with 10 points if you're just joining us. If you have any questions, ask the people in Twitch chat. Badco and Earwaxian are standing by along with our social media correspondent, Nikki. You can also check out how you're doing when it comes to points at WGLConnect.com. The top performers when it comes to points have an opportunity to take home a nice little prize. Betting begins at the beginning of every single battle.
All right, now these guys have just gotten off the face-off, getting back with their teams. Jay Smooth seemed incredibly hyped. I'm thinking after yesterday, they're feeling good, coming off a big win. But important things to remember when you're going to a match like this, which is, of course, don't get ahead of yourself. You just won. Yeah,
exactly.
It looked great. You guys were awesome. You smashed your opponent, and you deserve to be here. But don't get ahead of yourself, Simple Tankers. Take a step back and make sure to remember who you are and what you're up against.
Play tight, and that's what they got to do. Throughout the career of Simple Tankers, we've seen them be too divisive, too divided on the battlefield. We've seen them try to get into the brawls and take too much damage, and we've seen them pull off of a flag cap with seconds away from defeating Simp. Simple Tankers has the potential. They have the experience, and tonight may have the slight favor over I Love Lamp. But you cannot discount this team. They were overlooked a bit at the beginning of the season. They had their ups and downs, but then they reached their zone, their game, and they've been playing that game all the way to this point. If they continue to do so, Simple Tankers is going to have a rough time facing them on closed battlefields and open battlefields. Match number one, battle number one of Simple Tankers versus I Love Lamp, the last night of the playoffs. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
We have Simple Tankers, the red team, defending with a single 110, single IS-3, and a T-32, two 1390s, and two M41 Walker Bulldogs. Mobility, armor, that's what they're bringing here. Against I Love Lamp's 25100 IS-3, two RU-251s, a Tiger 1, and that E25. Where is the E25?
Let's try to find that E25. I'm following Ex-Soldier right now, who dodges a shot in the center. He's going to be followed by Invade and Baby Halo. Baby Halo's in that E25, and they're heading across. So we'll actually down the three line, following slowly but surely behind Fight Breast Cancer, Consequences, and Aggressor, who have taken the diagonal route from the F road through the J line, and they're continuing over across the J or Juliet line closer to the flag cap. They're cautious, they're staying behind cover, and Simple Tankers as the defense is not doing anything too careless either.
No, they're holding back. They were hoping, I think, to catch more tanks in transition from the west to the east or the southeast cap. They've discovered with Kraft Lawrence and his aggressive opening scout run, that there's not really anything happening on the west side. Kraft, Pub, and Executus, all three of those tanks are going to be able to make their way into the west and start flanking, which, if you can take a look at the layout right now of I Love Lamp, we could see Kraft Lawrence find Baby Halo, and he might not be able to get any support. With that, this is a position that could easily be taken apart by Simple Tankers if they time it right and play their cards evenly.
With an
It's
even
very
spread,
delicate. It's very delicate.
It is, and an even spread and even map awareness and map control is great in the first 2 minutes of the map. But during those first 2 minutes, your attackers are trying to feel what's happening on the battlefield. Where's the enemy? They're not blitzing. They're playing it safe. How do we break through this? Well, the play coming from Simple Tankers with those tanks in the F crossroads may be a slight gamble to some, but it's more map control, it's more map awareness, and it's attempting to control the enemy behavior. Aggressor is hit. There was 2 shots against Aggressor, who took a little bit of damage. As we pass the 5-minute mark, I Love Lamp still looking for an opening against Simple Tankers.
Exactly. Now, with the heavy tanks from Simple Tankers in the middle where they are, in that F crossroads area, with light tanks just kind of going around, it's very similar to the Prohorovka approach to this map, where they would have that heavy anchor of 2 T-32s. In this case, it's a mix 110 IS-3 T-32. But it serves much the same purpose, to hold your opponent in a position that they can't afford to engage you, and they can't afford to leave because there's too much danger waiting for both options. They're effectively pinned in this position, and they have to try and play more subtle tactics to force Simple Tankers out of position. The answer for I Love Lamp is to go up the zero line. Up the zero line means that they can take the high ground, fire into the sides of Wallhack, Zakum, and also Tofu Smurf. With those 3 tanks taking that much damage, light tanks are not currently in a position that they could deal with that. They could not bring support in time to trade evenly. So I Love Lamp has options, but their current spread makes it very difficult to execute with that. Aggressor, Consequences, Baby Halo, Fight Breast Cancer, all of those tanks are on difficult terrain to leave and difficult terrain to attack through.
Aggressor is looking towards Kraft Lawrence's position. He is spotted. And Consequences is spotted. Aggressor is no longer spotted, but Consequences is still lit up for Simple Tankers, who have been patiently waiting. And they have all the time in their favor with 3 minutes and 20 seconds. About less than a minute, I Love Lamp will have to commit their attack pattern if they have a shot at breaking through Simple Tankers. If they don't, Tankers can leave, get away from the fight, and they may not win the brawl necessarily, but they will win the battle, and that's what counts.
Exactly. Also, like I was saying earlier, you notice how the zero line seemed like an opening? It's been closed up. Angry White Guy with Pub Whisperer down the line, and Executus now moving to get a better angle, are in a situation where they're going to be able to at least hold off a zero line push. Now that there's been a little pressure on Cap, Zakum in the T-32 is going to be able to peek up.
Ooh, movement. Zakum is hit. Ex-Soldier, Akula, and Invade will move across the open road unpunished.
And now, at that same moment, it's going to force Simple Tankers to kind of ball up with their heavy tanks. But little did they know, there's some 1390s waiting down the line, and Ex-Soldier is getting torn apart. One more shell will take him down. See if anybody's going to be able to connect that. It might be Angry White Guy.
Shots fired hitting Simple Tankers, but they're still in control. Invade takes a hit for 460. A bounce shot. Akula and Ex-Soldier looking for fire to come back. Invade's in trouble. He's trying to peel behind cover here as he's firing more towards Pub Whisper and Angry White Guy. Invade is hitting the tracks. He's not going to repair. Waiting. Ex-Soldier fires, and now he pushes up. One tank is still on the flag cap coming from I Love Lamp, and Kraft Lawrence takes down Aggressor. Invade is hit again for 403. He's low. Fight Breast Cancer has full shots in his 5100, but around that corner, he's taken 2 hits. He has to be careful as well. 61 seconds left. Simple Tankers now pushing through the F crossroads, and another big hit on Tofu Smurf. These tanks in the Delta Village are able to punish movement coming from Simple Tankers.
But Simple Tankers have made a big push. All of their heavy tanks going right for Consequences and Baby Halo. Baby Halo, forced off the cap, is left dead.
He is destroyed. That's 2 tanks gone for I Love Lamp, who currently have 2,540 hit points. Simple Tankers at 5383. A big advantage coming from the veteran team. Now the rest of those tanks are moving towards that flag cap. One Consequence is still lit. Breast Cancer fights back and gets the kill. Zakum takes down Consequences, and there goes Tofu Smurf.
And now from the high ground, Ex-Soldier's trying to get out. Pub Whisperer's going to take him down. Next should be Fight Breast Cancer as he's on the reload, trying to back out, but he's not going to be able to get far enough away.
One more shot, and Angry White Guy takes down Invade. Fight Breast Cancer trying to get behind cover. Dodges a shot coming from Zakum, but Kraft Lawrence takes him out. Akula is the last tank alive for I Love Lamp on the battlefield. Executus tries to clean it up. He gets taken down. Angry White Guy turns the corner and gets the kill, and Simple Tankers puts the first point on the board in Battle 1.
Nicely played. I like the strategy from Simple Tankers, but I Love Lamp didn't really adjust to what they were seeing well enough. They still went forward with the cap fast with Baby Halo, something that had been seen yesterday, and Simple Tankers obviously reviewed it all. So they were prepared. They knew that something was going to come down the zero line. They actually kind of put bait out there. They didn't put anything in the Delta Village to really dissuade I Love Lamp from making that attack. So that when the heavy tanks in their position to protect the cap were forced into a situation where they would have to defend it, I Love Lamp taking a zero line push makes plenty of sense to them. It's open, there's heavy tanks in lower ground, we're going to be able to completely smash them. And there's all these light tanks going around. We've seen them west side of the map. We know they're over there, or at least they've been over there, which makes sense that maybe they're trying to make a flank. So, I Love Lamp makes a perfectly logical decision, which is, we'll push up the zero line, take that advantage. It's a trap though. Simple Tankers have placed tanks right there, waiting two 1390s and an M41 Walker Bulldog. Enough damage to really deal with that. Now, when it comes down to the execution, Simple Tankers isn't totally perfect.
No.
They miss some shells here and there.
A few.
They've also, I think, neglected to really account for the elevation difference between the positions they take up and the slightly higher elevation positions of the I Love Lamp
At least for two shots that I saw hit the ground going, well, wait a little bit or fire that shot a little bit earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just little things like that could have been improved, but altogether, it was a wholly successful strategy.
Very much so. Very much so. They won the fight on two different fronts. Now we're going to move into battle number 2 on Ruinberg. Simple Tankers is up 1-0. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we've got much the same, really, for Simple Tankers. They've got the 110 IS-3 T-32 combo with two 1390s and two M41 Walker Bulldogs, so they haven't changed. But I Love Lamp has decided that, well, maybe something different is in order. Two 5100s, IS-3, two RU-251s, and now two Tiger 1s. And Baby Halo's gone to an IS-3. Now it's Aggressor and Consequences in those Tier 7 tanks.
It may have been inspired by our Tiger 2 video, choosing the Tiger 1.
It's just such a good tank in this format. It has so many hit points. The gun's not bad. Really, it's a good choice, especially if you can afford to have something slower with armor that, if you angle it right, you can bounce shells at this tier, even gold shells from tanks like 5100s and IS-3s.
Well, it's one of those tanks too that fills this role sometimes to guard the 5100s, to make sure they're not taking damage, to move out there as the damage absorbers. And that allows these 5100s to get more shells out throughout the entire battle, more damage done, and more tanks destroyed. It's a little bit of a sacrificial play, but it can be used if the team is coordinated enough.
Exactly. If you play it right, Tiger 1 with the 5100s can play very well. Or the Tiger 1 holding a corner as an anchor for support of 5100s to come around or for IS-3s to come around, any other tank.
Ex-Soldier dancing on the flag cap, gets off again. Simple Tankers setting up, this time not fully committed to the north of the Delta Village, sticking closer to that F Crossroads exit point. We have 3 of the tanks from Simple Tankers to the north guarding the flag cap. These tanks will be able to scout through the ruins, through the city side of Ruinberg. They will not find anything.
Oh, there's a variation here, though. Real quick. Last time, you notice how those light tanks went to the west? And we saw I Love Lamp hanging back. Notice how they're changing that up this time. They're so much closer. Those heavy tanks are right on the edge, which is telling me they may intend to attack while the light tanks from Simple Tankers are off busy in the west trying to clear it. So we may see an engagement momentarily as Baby
Halo's
Halo
hit for 244.
Looks like light tanks from down the line, Pub Whisperer and Executus have found a target. Baby Halo's getting ripped up.
Missed shot from Pub. Zakum takes a hit, but a nice long shot against Akula.
Oh no, but wait, this Simple Tankers are going to run out of a lot of momentum. The 1390s are empty. They have Wallhex and Zakum where they are, but look at the high ground. There's nothing now to really punish Invade, Fight, Breast Control, Cool, or Consequences that are up there, or Ex-Soldier. This is actually a huge high ground advantage. Zakum is going to go down. There we go. Tank down. Angry Waika is the only one in the backfield able to help out, and he only has so much ammo.
Wallhax is down as well. It's 2 tanks down for Simple Tankers. The tank to the north, Angry White Guy, did a lot of damage against I Love Lamp, but is it enough for them to turn this around? Aggressor is in trouble. He's being surrounded. He goes down. That's 3 tanks down for Simple Tinkers, 2 down for I Love Lamp. Akula will be hit next, but there's 4 minutes and 7 seconds left on the clock. Plenty of enough time for the attackers to readjust, to reposition themselves, and possibly go to the north if they want to get away from this fight. Tofu Smurf staying in the fight, and now he's going to be the next tank to fall.
He can't leave. He's too slow. He's the only heavy tank left for Simple Tankers. The light tanks can't afford to protect him. They're all just trying to keep a distance. And now looking at the hit points, I Love Lamp may be low, but they have more guns on the battlefield right now, and some of those guns are so incredibly dangerous. Invade, fight breast cancer, just the 5100s hitting for 300 each time is so much against Simple Tankers.
Simple Tankers has to be really cautious. This is they're taking the long way around, and that's going to force them to have a sacrificial push in the next 28 seconds to stop the tanks on the flag cap unless Akula and X-Soldier are going to leave. Akula will stay on, X-Soldier will leave. Fight Breast Cancer has 2 shots left at about half health. And Simple Tinkers doesn't know that unless they've been expertly counting the amount of shots each of these autoloaders have taken.
I don't even think they got to see some of the shots fired, too far away. Now Kraft Lawrence is going to make his way back to the south. So this is a bit of a split. Pub Whisperer from the north, Executus Kraft Lawrence from the south. They're about to discover X-Soldier. Or be able to evade him. Although I think that was proxy distance. Within 50 meters is going to be a tell. Now Kraft Lawrence is going to try to make it.
Big shot from Akula on Executus, who moves in slowly. But Kraft Lawrence is now going to try to move towards the center to get the flag reset. He's not moving fast enough, but a reset does happen. Fight Breast Cancer is hit. Executus and Pub Whisperer move in. Executus gets destroyed. Pub Whisperer is the last tank left alive. He could take down X-Soldier here, and he will as he continues to move. Akula could be his next target with 13 seconds left, but the amount of damage done to Pub Whisperer, he will not survive long. One more shot, and he goes down, and I Love Lamp ties up the series 1-1.
Not bad there either. Now, see how I Love Lamp was able to shift things up. They realized their mistake last time, that they were baited into a fight, that their timing was played around with. They decided, well, we're not going to let Simple Tankers dictate what goes on here. We are, and we're going to start this fight. They went to the high ground as quickly as possible, knowing that there were light tanks on the flank. And even when they started to take fire, they realized that's the trigger. That's when we go. These light tanks have just begun an engagement on one of our heaviest tanks. Let's take the damage dealers in, the tanks that we were afraid of engaging those 1390s against. Well, now we can take care of the largest, one of the more dangerous forces Simple Tankers has on the battlefield without really having to worry about someone making a counterplay to that. It was great for I Love Lamp in this instance.
I Love Lamp did a really great job as well of not revealing too much of their tanks. They would have 2 tanks that Simple Tankers was taking damage from, and so Zakum was looking towards one way against Baby Halo, but then it was either Akula or another tank move out, get a shot, and then move back. And that was allowing I Love Lamp just to punish any of the peaks coming from Simple Tankers. And when they started to continue to do that, and after about 3 or 4 more shots, they have the lead. They've almost destroyed a tank.
Exactly. Now let's try and look at also individual players who are really standing out. Invade is the person to look out for. He was left at how many hit points? Less than 100, maybe, at the end of that battle?
Just about. And you take a look at his accuracy, 12 for 12.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect game from Invade in this time around. Right behind him, X-Soldier firing a lot on the move, mind you, so you can't really take his accuracy hit ratio really much into play. But he does get out a good 1,700 damage. And you see the Tiger 1s? They just were there to soak damage as much as possible, and they did that. They took a lot of damage. They were trying to be out in front and be as big and scary and annoying as possible. They might as well have been waving their arms around saying, look at me, look at me. And they did it. They worked out. Simple Tankers went for those tanks. They tried to take them down because they considered them beefy tanks that, if left alone, are going to deal plenty of damage. So might as well take them out. Also, easy target to pen. You're less likely to bounce, more efficient with your damage dealing while you are able
Operation Bodyguard for the Tiger 1s in that scenario. But we called it. That's what we were seeing why these tanks were getting chosen, to keep the 5100s alive. Invade did over 3k damage. That's what happens when you keep the 5100s alive. So now the adjustment coming from Simple Tankers, because it's about a loss and also a switch, they're going to be on the attack while the team that just won,
I Love Lamp, yeah,
is going to be on the defense. And so defensively for Ruinberg, you think, okay, I Love Lamp, what can you bring to the table?
Yes.
That's 1. That's all you get for tonight. Simply Irresistible.
Not. I'm going to keep track for you.
It's going to be 1 or 2.
Okay.
Of what type of adjustments they need to make.
Well, it's not an adjustment necessarily, except for the side first. I think Simple Tankers is one of those teams that does well on attack as opposed to defense. And by that I mean, where many teams will switch to attack after being on defense and kind of lose a little momentum, or they might have to really take some time to adjust. It seems like the second you put Simple Tankers in the attacking seat, it's like putting them in a fancy new car. They're going to just be like, yeah, I'm ready for this. Let's go.
This works.
Yeah, it's 60-second countdown. No, just hit start. Let's do this.
Just go. Tank changes I don't think will be too drastic, but possibly some KV5 usage.
Drastic. That's drastic.
That's drastic? KV5's drastic?
Look, it's going to be a whole different mentality for I Love Lamp.
Oh, all right. KV5 is a little bit more drastic on Ruinberg. I'll give you that. But we've seen KV5 successfully. We've seen them been successfully used at least once or twice in our careers when it comes to World of Tanks esports. Here we go. Battle number 3. Simple Tankers versus I Love Lamp. Ruinberg is still the map. What do we have for tanks?
All right, Simple Tankers. Red attacking, 2 5100s, 2 IS3s, 2 1390s, and a 5916. Different mentality and approach to this. Now, I Love Lamp defending is going to have 2 5100s, 2 IS3s, 2 KV5s, and a T37. That's a lot of hit points. That's 10K with a little bit of 40 on there. Just like, I don't know, tax or interest, whatever you want to call it. And then Simple Tankers, 8,580. Just the difference right there at the beginning should be noted, because 1390s, while they can deal a lot of damage, struggle when engaging against KV5s. Now, I'm not saying a KV5 is the perfect counter to that, but it's just something that, you know, it really sucks to engage as a 1390 against KV5.
Yeah, it's difficult. This type of moving wall brings a presence that cannot be denied, but if it's used incorrectly from I Love Lamp, because of how slow they are, or they could possibly block entrances that you need to escape or exits, they have to be cognizant and aware of how to use a KV5 best.
Physically blocking things.
Physically blocking.
One of the few tanks where you can actually do that, where you can really use as part of your strategy, blocking off a way on Himmelsdorf. That was last week, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. That was Fear versus I Love Lamp, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And it was really surprising to see someone actually try that in this format. You'd think that you'd only be able to do that with more tanks at your disposal, but the KV5 on this battlefield, it seems like it's just going to be a damage soak. Its whole job is to sit somewhere between the two caps, and then when the fight comes, run at enemy tanks and just try to interfere with their ability to engage on tanks like your 5100s, like your lighter tanks when you can, if you can. So we'll see if we can those KV5s will be used properly, or if they'll be kind of boxed out. Something Simple Tankers should be going for is attempting to evade the 5100s until they've dealt with the evade the KV5s until they've dealt with the 5100s, the IS3s.
Well, if you can dodge a 5100 as well, that'd be good, but you want to try to destroy those first. Simple Tankers has had one tank on the flag cap, Kraft Lawrence, for quite some time, and they're waiting for I Love Lamp to come to them.
Wonder if that's going to be a good idea in the long run. Because, all right, well, I guess we have to take it apart. Tofu Smurf's in the backfield, 1390s downfield, Pub Whisperer, Executus as well. Executus, if he could have gotten a reload in, that would have been fantastic for him, but he hasn't, so he's down one shell. And now Angry White Guy looks to be engaging and being engaged upon.
And Ex-Soldier is the first to fall in this struggle. Aggressor takes 2 hits, 539. And he's still angled, but he takes another shot for 247. He's looking for an open shot. He wanted to tackle wall hacks, but he had no clear target. And now he continues to get lit up. He finally moves.
And that's the only reason he's still alive. Executus and Pub Whisperer just couldn't connect shells. The way Aggressor was angled when he was tracked was just too much. Now, wall hacks will go down. Good play, but Fight Breast Cancer loses almost all of his hit points. If he takes one more connection, no, he's not. Tofu Smurf decides not to go for it, and he's going to stay alive a little longer. But look downfield, you're seeing the 1390s are moving in on their reloads, and will be able to have a second clip ready in the middle of this fight.
Angry White Guy is trying to take down Baby Halo in time, but he's one shot away from falling. He gets around the corner in time, but there goes Zach Koom, and Angry White Guy fall. 3 tanks remain for Simple Tankers. Slight gain when it comes to I Love Lamp for hit points, but Aggressor falls. And here comes Pub Whisperer. Missed shot from Executus. Invade hits Pub Whisperer for 332. Return fire and Pub Whisperer is low. I Love Lamp is sticking together and punishing any time Civil Tankers moves around the corner and tries to take down one of their lighter tanks.
Yeah, Pub Whisperer 4 shells left. Executus is on the reload, and Pub just had his turret repaired. That's what it was. He was not engaging because he literally just could not control his tank well enough or reliably enough in order to move in like that. Now he's going to be taken down by Invade. No! Invade's not going to be able to make the shot connect, but Baby Halo will get the kill.
Executus and Tofu Smurf, last tanks alive for Simple Tankers, 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Simple Tankers is on the attack. One tank way up north is Executus, and Tofu Smurf knows that they're starting to move north as well. He's going to have to make a decision, go up against Consequences and try to clean up what's left of Akula, Invade, and Baby Halo, or figure out something else, but he has to get a tank aside.
He's going to try and just run past them. Instead of getting boxed into a corner, he realizes what's going on. He says, okay, they're going to try to corner me. Let's just go this way, and maybe I can evade. He stops, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think he could have kept going, and he might be able to survive even. But
missed shot against Invade. Akula gets the last shot and the kill. It's up to Tofu Smurf now. Last tank alive for Simple Tankers up against 4 tanks of I Love Lamp. They are low, but not low enough, I feel, for Tofu Smurf to be able to clean this up. He engages against Consequences. He will win the engagement, but at about 30% health and 3 shots left, he's in tough shape.
469. He can take 2 shells, 2 from Akula easily, 1 from Invade, and if it's a high enough roll, nope.
1 shot and another one coming from Akula, and that's it. I Love Lamp now leads the series 2-1 against Simple Tankers.
All right, so there were a few good things that happened, a few bad things that happened for both teams. I think, first of all, it's Simple Tankers played really well early on, but when they failed to keep the pressure on, I think that's what it was. I didn't feel like the point until the engagement was forced by I Love Lamp that the pressure by Simple Tankers to mess with I Love Lamp's ability to make the fight work in their favor was enough. They kind of let them sit there and let them get closer and closer. And the trap, when sprung, you did see a tank go down, you did see a kill, but you didn't see that kind of... It wasn't complex enough. It wasn't really enough. It was more like just kind of pushing up against them as opposed to really pushing them up and over.
Yeah, and a little bit of timidness. They're being timid initially because they're waiting to find out where's the weakness on Simple Tankers. But once they started to land those shots and then on the F crossroads take down the 1390 that was starting to get its shots, that's when I Love Lamp knew that they could continue to push and get the kills.
Okay,
so it took a little bit of time to get it started, but once it did, they had control.
Yeah, and then on the side of Simple Tankers, they just couldn't really... They didn't feel decisive enough. They didn't feel like they did later in the series yesterday, where
we're finding them really divided up. Zach Koom is almost all alone. I mean, they're in the same region, but they're not in the same battles. And I Love Lamp recognizes that, and that's why they're winning these 2 versus 1 and 3 versus 1 quickly.
Yeah, they're finding their overmatches, they're going for it, and they're taking the win from there.
Battle 4. Simple Tankers is down 1. I Love Lamp has 2 on the battle score. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we've got 2 5100s, 3 1390s, 2 M41 Walker Bulldogs for Simple Tankers, the red team attacking. Blue defending, I Love Lamp, 2 5100s, 2 IS3s, 2 KV5s, T37. That's a lot of autoloaders. Actually, we'll be able to verify in just a second if they're exclusively autoloaders, and they are, against 2 autoloaders and a lot of alpha damage and a lot of hit points.
A lot of hit points.
Less than 8,000 hit points in Simple Tankers. If they find the engagement poorly, it's going to be very fast. They will lose very quickly.
Simple Tankers may be honing in on what they're good at and getting up close and personal in the brawls together.
I mean, they needed a little hit points to
first
do
shot
like that.
Baby Halo gets a hit on Angry White Guy. Opening scout run coming from both teams. Still Northern TIE Fighter pattern from I Love Lamp. They stuck to the north last time, and when Simple Tankers started to place some tanks on the flag cap, they slowly moved to the Delta Village. They didn't fully commit because it could have been a fake, could have been a flank that they were trying to position.
A little blind fire as well right now. J Smooth trying to see if he can find anything as he fires off to the northeast, towards Alpha 5, Alpha 6. So he can maybe find a forward passive scout, someone who's just observing, waiting for that kind of an attack. It would make sense, by the way, for simple tankers to really blitz the north, or at least a delayed attack on the north. With an autoloader lineup, you really don't try to go for southern cap pressure. But with a lineup like this, it can get a little tricky, and I think that's where J Smooth is trying to catch I Love Lamp off guard. He's putting Angry White Guy on the southern cap, knowing that I Love Lamp is defending the northern one. It's going to pull a bunch of those tanks south, both KV-5s especially, and it's going to be more difficult for them to return to the north in just a minute when I expect simple tankers will put pressure up there as well. It's going to be a game of mobility, I hope, for simple tankers. If they can use that to their advantage, catch a little damage early on before making a second engagement after getting that lead, perfect for them.
2 shots ringing from I Love Lamp. They don't connect.
I think they're going blind fire towards Pub Whisperer and Executus and Wallhacks, I should note as well. But it's really just luck whether or not they connect down this line. They can know that the best hiding spots are along a very specific line, but making them connect on small targets like this with the slight variations in elevation, the fact that the ground slightly rises about 100 meters before Wallhacks, and that's by just a few feet, which is just enough.
Well, there's one tank death. Baby Halo is gone. J Smooth landed that shot. Aggressor is still spotted on the side of I Love Lamp, and J Smooth is spotted for simple tankers. He's
And
flashed a no, and now he's disappeared.
He's going to turn around, wait for his reload, and with that kind of a lead, that's going to mean the eyes for I Love Lamp. Most flexible tank on the battlefield for them, the tank that would have been able to verify the safety of the north, gone. Meaning now I Love Lamp has to decide, where are we going to go? Are we just going to go back to position 1? We're going to go position A, opening move, where we've got some tanks in the north, some tanks in the south, and we're just ready for something? It's not a good position for I Love Lamp, but they do have time on their side. If you look at the clock, 3 minutes, 40 seconds left for simple tankers to try and find their way to victory. Looking at the hit points, 9,360, where it used to be above 10K.
A little
Just
bit
a
of
little
damage.
bit under.
One shot did hit Angry White Guy earlier on.
It's one little shell. It's a T-37 shell, not something like an IS-3 shell or a KV-5, which would have hurt so much more.
It shows how much HP Baby Halo really impacts the team with 680. It still does make a difference with that Tier 6 tank. Movement coming from simple tankers towards the north side through the ruins on the west. They're looking gung-ho to take that north side, and they had about 30 seconds to begin the engagement at least.
Look at this, though. Wallhacks Executus, 21390 hit squad. They're going to go into the backfield. At the same time, I'm expecting Tofu, an unknown one, might move up from the middle, and they'll begin firing north. Same time, Angry White Guy, J Smooth, Pub Whisperer, or just J Smooth, Angry White Guy might move up, covered by Pub Whisperer, and with that you're going to have 3 different angles of approach. J Smooth playing the scout here, very risky by the way. He could go down in any instant, and without being spotted if his luck's bad, or rather the positioning of I Love Lamp is that good. He's got to play it safe. All right, following it up, it's going to be Pub Whisperer. And right behind him, Angry White Guy. This is a moment where it can all go very, very bad.
They definitely can. Pub Whisperer is the first to get hit. Kula gets hit as well. Pub Whisperer is low. One shot, he will fall. He's trying to return fire. Bounce against Pub Whisperer to still stay alive. Angry White Guy gets hit for almost half damage.
And where's the rest of the team? Pub Whisperer's going to try to back off. He actually has a little low ground. A lot of missed shells. Going to be kind of nice for him. But the 5100s are a little late. And now Cap in the south. Tofu, unknown one. Moving in that direction as Executus and Wallhacks have already jumped on the cap. Angry White Guy, J Smooth are in full retreat. As Angry White Guy is 97 hit points, he can only try to just be annoying.
Consequences and Soldier are now pushing up to that flag cap and trying to get there as fast as they can.
We
Angry
need to see a
White Guy
screen.
could pot. Well, he doesn't have much hit points to try to screen, but a shot will rain towards him. Does not connect. He's still trying to jump on the flag. He needs to continue to move back and forth to dodgy shots coming from Ex-Soldier and Consequences. He's actually getting in front of his friendly tank here to act as a shield. There is a reset. 7 seconds left on the base cap. Soldier and Consequences trying to get there. Looking for confirmation. No, does not get captured. 4 seconds left. 5 breath scans for Ex-Soldier pushing in. And it'll be a continual reset here. Simple Tankers was 1 second away from getting this, but they're returning fire. They take down one tank, moves in, they take down another one. X Consequences and Invade still on top of the flag cap. 3 tanks remain for Simple Tankers. 4 still alive for I Love Lamp, but they're starting to push in. Consequences falls. 3 tanks still going for Simple Tankers, but Tofu falls. Executus is pulling back. He's low. Unknown One's on the reload, and I Love Lamp's going to clean this one up as well, Randall.
Yeah, it was a risky move. Incredibly bold play for Simple Tankers. Their audible was South Cap, and it was late. All they needed was a few seconds.
A few more seconds more, and they definitely could have had it. Now I Love Lamp takes the lead 3-1. This play was actually very reminiscent in 7x42 of Victoria's Secret versus Fun Gaming when J Smooth was up firing those shots to the north. A little bit of pepper damage, a little bit of blind fire, but it was focusing I Love Lamp to the north side, but they just took too long to implement step 2 or stage 2 of their plan. That was getting on the flag cap.
I thought that would have been an audible, really, to try and, grab the attention of I Love Lamp. It would have made more sense to simultaneously jump on the southern cap so that then you have I Love Lamp deciding, oh, which way do we go? Oh, we go south, but then when you pull everyone out of that area, you end up kind of hobbling your force because not everyone is ready or able to easily leave. That would have been great for Simple Tankers, but I Love Lamp handles it perfectly. They throw everyone towards the south, and you could see the just can't stop, won't stop mentality right there. Up and over, IS-3 went straight for the cap, and J Smooth had to just throw his tank in the way, literally, to stop him. It was not a kind of drive around in circles and annoy him and distract him. He was focused, and the only way to stop him was to just throw your tank onto his tracks, and just that was it. Even that didn't really stop I Love Lamp.
Yeah, that can't stop, won't stop type mentality is great, but I want to see that in the brawls. The flag cap scenario, it was a good plan. But if they're able to engage against I Love Lamp to divide some of these scouting tanks or to take over this Delta village or that northern village very quickly, to catch them off guard in the first 2 minutes, I feel as a Simple Tankers is good at. And we haven't seen that ultimate strength come from them yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen them force a fight where they can really show how coordinated they can be when it comes down to that kind of fight. But you have to respect I Love Lamp. That's an opponent that knows how to brawl as well. An opponent where, well, you may be able to trust that you're better, but these guys are also motivated, well-coordinated, and experienced.
Oh, it's obviously not an easy opponent. Simple Tankers now has a shot to maybe show some of that brawl-type aggression because we're going to be playing on Murovanka for the rest of this series. I Love Lamp is up 3-1 in battle number 5. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
All right, Simple Tankers will be on the defense to start. They have a T-32, 2 T-69s, 1390 RU-251, T-54 lightweight, and 5916. Standard defense lineup right there from Simple Tankers. I Love Lamp will bring a T-32, 2 Pershings, 2 1390s, an RU-251, and a T-37. Also very standard for their attack. What's going to happen to break all of this down real quick is we're going to see a bit of a push right towards the middle, groups moving out on either side, and we're going to see a crossfire focused around the positions held up in the bottom left-hand corner. In the meantime, we'll be able to explore Simple Tankers' very standard defense. Or what I expect to be.
Expectations sometimes get thrown out the window as soon as these two teams engage. Baby Halo's going to be cruising through the magical forest of the map, scouting for any possible tanks, any possible enemies in this quadrant. He'll see none. Simple Tankers as a defense is not playing any risky games here so far.
Yeah, everything seems to be adding up towards the standard defense and I Love Lamp's standard but very creative and very effective attack, I should say. What it does is it seeks to create a crossfire on tanks like Zakum, Angry White Guy, and Wallhacks. The T-69s, of course, are there to burst down any tanks that are unlucky enough to be exposed for a few seconds. Now the T-32, of course, a very strong anchor. Good hit points, plays well in the hull down, all of this. And these 3 tanks from Simple Tankers will be the main target of I Love Lamp. They're going to be sending tanks to the north, Fight Breast Cancer being one of them. He is currently waiting for orders. And then to the southeast, you're going to see tanks like Invade, Baby Halo, Consequences, those guys. They're going to be looking to get shots onto that T-32 Wallhacks.
Consequences in Gulf 7, waiting to scout any tanks close by in that flag cap. Tofu Smurf is spotted, but that's on the opposite side of the map. So is Akula and Invade. Akula is the only tank that's taken damage. And now Pub Whisperer sees Invade pushing forward. 2 shots from Pub and Executus do not connect, and Invade gets behind the cover.
And he's very, very close to Kraft Lawrence, who, by the way, has been sitting passive for quite some time.
Pub Whisperer gets hit for 2, for 3, 514, 742. Another
more.
one for 987. I Love Lamp assassinates Pub Whisperer, and now Simple Tankers is down a tank.
And they're going to move out Wallhacks and Zakum. With Angry Whitehead, 3 of them up and over and around. They're going to find X-Soldier, but a beautiful track shot into Wallhacks is going to pin him temporarily. That's not going to stop Executus, though. That 1390 is all the way in the middle of the pack already.
Executus trying to move forward. He takes down X-Soldier. He gets hit once. And now Kraft Lawrence is moving in to distract Invade and his other battle buddy behind the cover. He's able to do a little bit of damage. Baby Halo's going to move up. Kraft Lawrence has 1 more shell. Now he's on the reload. As Simple Tankers loses Kraft Lawrence, down 2 tanks compared to the 1 tank on I Love Lamp, now 2 as Akula falls. Tofu Smurf, the next target coming from the tanks further to the south, tries to get behind cover from Aggressor, but he's punished for it. Consequences is reloading, and Tofu Smurf will not be able to take down Consequences. Wallhacks now moving towards the cover as Zakum and Angry White Guy are moving forward to get into the mix. Angry White Guy still on the reload, and here comes Fight Breast Cancer.
And now Zakum as well is engaging against Consequences. But Fight Breast Cancer is going to be able to do a lot of work, but he's taking quite a bit of damage. 939, just 1 more shell is all he needed.
3 tanks still left alive for Simple Tankers, but not much health. There goes 2, 4 on the field for I Love Lamp. Wallhacks falls, Executus, last tank alive as the defenders. He fires towards Aggressor. He's still trying to stay in this fight. Executus fires again. He's on the reload, and Executus is going to have to be on the run for another 3 minutes and 8 seconds. I Love Lamp will be able to clean this up and will take 1 more battle, leaving them 1 battle away from going to San Francisco.
Yeah, I Love Lamp has looked spectacular, especially the map choices are very strong for them. Keeping Prohorovka out of the map pool, it's picking Ruinberg. Moravonka is a strong map for them to have second. I think that looking forward, I Love Lamp has every reason to be able to win this, but Simple Tankers is the kind of team that very well could come back. Not known for finishing, but definitely not known for having a series go quite like this soon.
Invade gets a kill against Baby Halo.
I mean,
He
Executus
continues to fight against Invade. Invade is on the reload, but he finally reloads. They get the kill. And now I Love Lamp's 1 battle away from taking this. We're all very impressed with I Love Lamp, especially what they've been able to do over this entire season. But Simple Tankers, their strategies just keep getting matched and then overmatched. Matched and then overmatched by I Love Lamp.
Yeah, it was the strategy that you saw from Simple Tankers is something that's been going on for weeks. The kind of strategy that Simp would bring. The kind of strategy that I Love Lamp brought against Simp to tear apart Simp's defenses is what we saw here from I Love Lamp. So Simple Tankers, before this battle had started, had picked a lineup which I Love Lamp had designed theirs to fight. Had trained to fight against a strategy that Simple Tankers employed, showing that Simple Tankers were not up to the same level on Moravonka, at least in this first battle, that I Love Lamp is. I Love Lamp has put in a lot of work and a lot of time. This is the map where we saw them really just stomp all over their opponents.
Definitely. Moravonka has been a map that we've seen all sorts of different lineups, different approaches. Simple Tankers, one of them showed such drive, especially when they would spawn from the north and then press right in from the 1 line. I love seeing that type of play from Simple Tankers. But again, as the defenders, 1 more shot to try to switch the momentum into their favor. This is a tough place to be. It really is. Do they go with what they know and meet I Love Lamp head on in the middle of the battlefield? Or do they hold back even further as the defenders? The answer is up to them as we move into battle number 6 between Simple Tankers and I Love Lamp. What do we have for tanks?
All right, we've got a T-32, 2 T-69s, 1390, 2 RU-251s, and a 5916 for Simple Tankers on their final defense. I Love Lamp, T-32, 2 Pershings, 2 1390s, RU-251, and a T-37. Now, this says I'm going to play that same strategy. I'm just not bringing the T-54 lightweight this time. But, like you said, it's all up to Simple Tankers what they're going to do. Kraft Lawrence will be the first indicator of their intentions.
A cool and Aggressor following these heavy hitters, these T-32s. So they're going to move across the battlefield over on the west side. Baby Halo will take point again. followed by Invading Consequences, who will stick to the north side of the Magical Forest on the east. Gotta imagine what's going through Simple Tinker's minds right now. One battle away from not going to San Francisco, still in a beautiful journey for them to make it this far compared to what happened to them last season of being knocked out of the league.
Notice the absence of J-Smooth, a tanker that we're very used to seeing on the battlefield. There's been 2. This is the second battle I can count that he's been off the battlefield.
Well, Simple Tinkers was a team, or is a team, that uses all their bench players. They even had their bench players at the live finals that they attended.
You're right about that, but J-Smooth seems like such a crucial player. He's always played well. Now, Tofu Smurf is someone to follow because he's been putting up great numbers, always plays well. But you wonder if they should have a more consistent lineup at times. You know, starters who are more often on the battlefield. Or maybe those people are there for a different purpose. Now look at Simple Tankers right out to meet your opponent.
They're doing it.
Tofu's up the one line.
Wallhacks gets hit. Some bounce shots. They turn the corner. Tofu and Executus and Pub Whisperer are moving up that one line. They're going to meet I Love Lamp head on. If they're going to go down, they're going to go down with a fight. Tofu Smurf is hit for 447. He finds fight breast cancer. Executus and Pub Whisperer are now going to move forward. And can they get the kill in time? They can before Tofu Smurf falls down further in his hit point pool. Akula goes down as well. Simple Tankers takes down 2 of the tanks from I Love Lamp. Aggressor from a distance is hit, but so's Executus, who will go on the reload. And the second wind of Simple Tankers is starting to catch its breath as they move to the bottom of the hill and push closer against Aggressor. Consequences now moves in against Angry White Guy.
Yeah, and that's Angry White Guy still on the reload. He needs just a little bit longer, but he does not have time to get his reload. That's Consequences in, but they will lose Invade, sending him too deep into enemy territory.
Kraft Lawrence from the quarterback play is now pushing up against Baby Halo. He gets that kill. He's on the reload. Wallhacks bounces a shot from Consequences. And Wallhacks is now pressing up against Aggressor and Ex-Soldier. Kraft Lawrence finds Consequences. He's loaded. He has 1 shot, 2 shots, 3. Can he get 4? He can, and here comes Executus to seal the deal. Consequences is on fire for a bit. 2 missed shots coming from Simple Tankers, who fire on the move, but they take down the 3rd remaining tank. Aggressor and Ex-Soldier are the last ones on the battlefield. Randall, this is the Simple Tankers we've been waiting to see tonight.
Exactly. This is what we wanted. Looks like a normal strategy, smells like a normal strategy, but it's not at all. That is complete fake out, and it's beautiful.
And Simple Tanker stays alive, puts another point on the board, and that will bring us to battle number 7. If they can do that 2 more times, we'll go to a tiebreaker, and that tiebreaker will determine who's going to be joining us in San Francisco on March 15th. That lit a fire under Simple Tankers. We saw that action, but now that type of play will become predictable for I Love Lamp. So the question is, what's going to happen next for Simple Tankers?
Do it again.
I agree.
Yep, I'm sorry. It seems like I should have a more elegant answer to that one. Like there should be something deeper, but I don't think Simple Tankers need that. They know how to play. They are so coordinated together that you can see how some players are going to come in with certain timings. Kraft Lawrence, I love how he comes in on the flank like that. It's just perfect because it seems like he's not going to be in the fight just long enough out of it to the point where I Love Lamp isn't really thinking about him anymore. They've decided, all right, everything we need to care about is on the battlefield right now. But then you throw that into the mix, and the 5916 does 1,157 damage. Right with that, Executus is someone you should have been paying attention the whole time. 1390, 1,853. And they were able to take out Baby Halo very quickly, that T-37. If you leave it alive for a while, it's able to rack up a good amount of damage. And also the Pershing, Akula, another consistent fire tank that you don't leave alive. Autoloaders, you let them get the 1 clip out. They're going to be able to do that, especially if they play it right. After that, you just shut them down and don't let them get their 2nd clip. That's what you have to deny.
If you had a soundtrack inside of Kraft Lawrence's 5916 tank, it would be playing the overture of William Tell, or more popularly known as the Lone Ranger theme song, as he was moving in, getting that shot against Baby Halo. Because what that did is it's the lighter tank versus a lighter tank. Mm-hmm. He destroys that pain. That where is Baby Halo? He's destroyed some of these bigger tanks in the past. And once that started to flip into their favor, Simple Tankers, I mean, they were firing on the move. They were full speed ahead. Executus going, I'm still going to get this guy even though I missed the first shot. That really brings a lot of that enthusiasm that any team that had just lost 3 battles in a row really needs, or 4 battles in a row, rather. I really, really enjoyed that push right there coming from Kraft Lawrence. And because of that, it opens up this entire avenue.
Yeah, that Lone Ranger thing, I was thinking, I need a hero. old enough for. I was thinking something like that kind of a deal, because it was perfect timing. He comes on in 1390s trying to escape. He completely denies that, and it's beautiful to see it. Now we are going to go into a flip side. So now Simple Tankers is going to be attacking, which means that where they were on the defense, you're expecting your opponent to defend.
Yes.
Now we've got I Love Lamp on the side that, while they're very good at it, I felt like I appreciated so much more what they were doing when they were attacking. Defending, maybe that's where Simple Tankers can try and bring this one back into their favor.
Possibly. The more familiar territory of attacking, I think, definitely goes in favor to Simple Tankers, but there's no room for error at all. At all here. Because if they can't destroy the tanks that are on the battlefield, if one tank, even if it's Baby Halo, and E25 cruises away, they win. I Love Lamp will win, and they will go to San Francisco. If there's any poor time management, Simple Tankers is out of here. If there's too many missed shots, Simple Tankers is out of here. If there's friendly fire, which we saw from Simp this season, Simple Tankers is out of here.
You're right. They can't mess up. There's no room at all. And this is the kind of team that, just to kind of break it down in the past, when they've failed, when they've really let us down, it's been when they need to close out a series like that. When they start strong, which is what they kind of used to do all the time. They used to start strong, get the first few wins, and then they'd fall apart. If they keep to that kind of a trend where they play well, they get that first win, and then they just go on the losing streak until it's over. You know, right now they're trying to redeem themselves, but they've always had trouble closing out the series. Getting that last win or getting those last two wins to just finally win, to finally finish it. That's always what seems to be lacking.
It's the last push. Battle number 7, Simple Tankers 2, I Love Lamp 4. Murovanka is still our map. Randall, what do we have for tanks?
Well, we've got a Pershing and a T-69, two 1390s, RU-251, two M41 Walker Bulldogs. Simple Tankers attacking. I Love Lamp defending, two IS-3s, 1393 RU-251s, and a T-37. Now, I Love Lamp's IS-3 strategy allows them to be aggressive. They can decide to sit back, play the hold-down game, and kind of play that. Or, the moment they perceive any weakness, forward is the best direction, IS-3 smash into tanks' faces, everyone comes on around the RUs, and time after time after time, tank will go down. Now, we have a tweet from the Poop Cannon. What is your favorite Tier 8 scout with respect to competitive play since the recent introduction of the new ones? This, I'll let you take this one first, Josh. What's your favorite?
Well, if we stick to the Tier 8s, I love the RU-251. It is faster than the 1390. I am a little bit more catered to consistent fire tanks because of my play style, nothing against autoloaders. So that's definitely the one that I would pick.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. The RU-251 is a great tank, but the T-49, it's so fun.
It definitely is.
That's what I love about it. It's more fun to play the T-49. The RU-251 is
it's the practical choice.
Yes.
It's like the efficient. It's not too, it's exactly
it's
what you need.
good at everything.
It's exactly what you need. The T-49, excuse me, is what you want, kind of thing.
Yeah. So the RU-251 is the
big explosions, huge amounts of damage, fast, but it doesn't. The accuracy is near abysmal.
Yeah, that's the T-49. The RU, I mean, it's the tank this city needs, man.
Placement for I Love Lamp right now is slightly north of the flag cap to the west. Angry White Guy is the only tank that has been spotted, at least in the last minute and 40 seconds. Baby Halo spotted as well. Simple Tankers taking their time, looking for any weaknesses, any openings from I Love Lamp, or possibly another fake that could go through the magical forest. But time is in favor of I Love Lamp, the defenders here, who are one battle away from going to San Francisco. Aggressor next soldier hanging back, waiting for the attack coming from Simple Tankers.
It's just a little scout game. That's all it is. They're trying to see if they can box out Baby Halo, maybe figure out his timing. If they can figure out when he's going to show up, they can time their attack down the one line. Because if you notice, we have Tofu Smurf, who's going to lead the way with Pub Whisperer and Executus. Or at least that's the ideal from Simple Tankers. They usually send those tanks down the one line. But looking at the timing, I think it's going to be an audible call, and Simple Tankers is going to pull back from the one line. This is a little curious, I'd say, from what we're used to seeing. Simple Tankers very often take the one line, send a bunch of light tanks right down, support that with mediums moving down the 3 line to engage against the heavies and mediums that most defenders will have along that area. But since their opponent, I Love Lamp in the situation, has studied very hard and understands what's going on, we're going to see that change up. Now Kraft Lawrence has been spotted shifting, and Baby Halo might have just gained the crucial intel on Simple Tanker's movements to allow I Love Lamp to adjust.
Invade and Akula looking for any opening against Simple Tankers as they hang back in the defensive position. Ex-Soldier, Aggressor, and Baby Halo riding the hills right now in that golf hotel section of the map. Simple Tankers showing some movement, closing the gap between the attackers and defenders.
The timing is off. They've got the M41s way too far ahead. Executives, Pub Whisperer are going to get there, but I think maybe a little bit late. Zakum, Wallhacks are arriving, but I'm afraid for the M41s. But stopping like Angry White Guy has just done might work out. Kraft Lawrence is taking a little damage, getting closer. It's an off-tempo kind of an attack that might hurt them.
It is off-tempo, but it may split up I Love Lamp just enough to put a wedge in between these two forces. Executives, however, trying to move around Ex-Soldier, but Ex-Soldier moves on the back foot and gets the kill. Beautiful heads-up play coming from I Love Lamp so far. Pub Whisperer is low. He's the next tank destroyed. Simple Tankers still trying to close the gap. They take down Consequences in Baby Halo. Tofu Smurf double backs. He takes a shot around the corner, but returns fire to punish Ex-Soldier in that IS-3. Fight Breast Cancer, waiting for the reload. Gets it, fires towards Zakum for a 230 shot, but a bounce coming from Aggressor, I believe. At least it was a missed shot. Firing back towards Breast Cancer. Wallhacks will engage against Aggressor, and here comes Invade with 2 shots remaining. He can't do much, but he can do something, and that's what he's trying to do at the bottom of this hill while Fight Breast Cancer is getting away from Simple Tankers.
Now it's a flank. He's going to get around behind these mediums and light tanks, but looks like they're there waiting for him, and he's taken enough damage that Tofu can now just chase him down and get that last shell for the finisher.
He does get it. Zakum is taking way too much damage with 2 shells left. These IS-3s are definitely punishing the American tank. Aggressor still up top, looking for the shot against Wallhacks, but Ex-Soldier is able to land it. And Simple Tankers need to focus on tanks. They need to focus fire here, but these IS-3s still alive are definitely a pain for Simple Tankers right now. Wallhacks takes another hit for 234.
And this is starting to work out. You're seeing the right tanks take the right amount of damage, but 1,375 versus 2,015 hit points.
Tough place to be for Simple Tankers, but they're not out of this yet. 4 tanks versus 4 tanks. Kraft Lawrence's hit from a distance of missed, or a
bounce.
2 shots.
It's a bounce.
Another bounce against Ex-Soldier. Zakum finally gets it.
And there goes Invade as well from Kraft Lawrence. Zakum has 1 shell, and he gets it into Akula. Tofu does not have enough damage, and that's going to be up to Angry White Guy to start cleaning this up, but he catches fire!
He catches fire. Aggressor gets the kill, and around the corner, Akula gets a shot on Tofu Smurf. It's 2 against 2 with the minute left. Simple Tankers still needs to kill these tanks. Akula and Aggressor both have at least 2 shots, and they get Kraft Lawrence.
It's Zakum. That's it.
Zakum, long range, looking for the shot against Akula. He is loaded in that T-69.
But he has 267 hit points. Akula might not be able to get the kill shot in 1 hit, but the Aggressor can certainly make it happen.
He needs 1 more shot on Akula.
But he needs 2 onto Aggressor.
30 seconds left.
And, okay, if he's ammo racked or something right now, he can't reload in time. He does not possess the damage to get the win. He would have to somehow ram into Akula while killing Aggressor, or if this next shell somehow sets him on fire or ammo racks him, that would be a way to do it. But Akula's just putting distance.
Akula.
It's over.
Getting through that force with 10 seconds left. Zakum's not going to be able to destroy Aggressor and Akula at the same time for the defender's advantage. And Aggressor takes down Zakum, and that's it. I Love Lamp takes the series, and I Love Lamp will be joining us in San Francisco, where they will face Simp in the semifinals.
That was an impressive last stand from Simple Tankers. I Love Lamp, though, played brutally.
They played brilliantly.
You can say that as well, because they just brought heavy lineups, smashed into their opponent, didn't play around with these light tank battles that Simple Tankers were going to try and bait them into. But when they wouldn't have any of that, Simple Tankers could not respond well enough. And I Love Lamp played it right. Now, at the end, it was getting a little bit close. I Love Lamp was looking like they weren't going to be able to hold it together. Maybe Simple Tankers was going to bring this one back, but it was staying calm under pressure, staying organized, making a few shots count when many others would have gotten jittery or gotten unfocused and just let those shots fly and let them miss. But no, they stayed calm, cool, collected.
I would
made them
love
count.
to go over, as we prepare for the finals of San Francisco, the exact placement of I Love Lamp in comparison to Simple Tankers, both on the engagements and on their attack runs. Because I was finding I Love Lamp together more in proximity compared to Simple Tankers.
There was a lot of that. I think you could definitely point that out. The M41s in that last attack, they did go for a blitz down the one line, something we're used to seeing from Simple Tankers, and I think that may have been a distraction it coming early, but it was also a tell. And so the other light tanks, when they moved in, ended up kind of finding tanks that were able to adjust to them or expecting them already, and that really hurt because I Love Lamp was able to figure out, based extrapolating from incomplete data, what was going to happen based off the few little instances of what they could see in that last one. They adjusted perfectly and stayed together, which is an important point.
A very important point. Another important point is to find out what Baby Halo has to say when it comes to joining us in San Francisco, and he's standing by on the line. Baby Halo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right,
What's up?
congratulations on going to San Francisco. What does this mean for you and your team?
It's crazy. we're actually gonna beat each other in person. Like 2 years, a year, 2 years of tanking, you know, and now we're actually all gonna be together and hanging out. That's gonna be fun.
So this is the first time you'll actually physically meet your team members.
Yeah. Like no one knows each other at all. Like only I know 2 people also live in Florida, like me, but everyone's all over the place. New York, Texas, several in Canada.
I can guarantee you that the first reaction you're going to have is, wow, I thought you were a lot taller, or wow, I thought you were a lot shorter.
Probably. It's going to be awesome.
When it comes to preparation, what do you have in store right now to get ready for March 15th?
Probably we're going to keep watching replays. We're going to keep going to school and to work like normal people. And that's pretty much it. And hopefully we could get some scrims because we stopped doing that, actually.
Now, a lot of teams, when they would make it this far, they would say to themselves, well, we still have to face Simp, or in the past we still had to face Fulcrum or Fnatic. You already defeated Simp once in the regular season. Are you starting this semifinal in a better place compared to other teams in the past because you already have that victory under your belt?
I mean, we have the confidence, that's for sure. We're the only team that's beaten the top 2 teams in the league. We beat the Cunninghams in the tiebreaker, and we beat Simp. We're the only ones to do it. So, and having beaten Simp, we have the assurance that it's possible, and it's not an impossible feat.
It's not an impossible task. It's not an impossible dream. Any words you'd like to say to your fans before we say goodnight to you?
I love Lamp.
All right, Baby Halo, congratulations to you and your team. We'll see you in San Francisco.
All right, guys. See you.
Good luck.
And you can see the excitement in his face. And it's a true story, for him and the rest of his team to meet for the first time. That's when we first met. Like, oh, hey.
Yeah. You're clutch. You're that guy that's been chilling out on our TeamSpeak all the time. Playing the M4 and taking Endo's advice. Never do that.
And using the 105 and laughing maniacally. It really is a lot of fun. And any online gamer, when they meet their friends in real life, you already have so much in common. And I'm looking forward to meeting all these guys in person as well.
It sticks with you, man. I mean,
it does.
I've been on both sides of it, meeting some people and playing video games and then people on the internet. I mean, it is a massive experience when you finally go to the tournament and finally sit down on the stage with these people after practicing for months and months, and you finally get to it.
Well, that does it for our first matchup, ladies and gentlemen, but we're getting ready for our second matchup, our final match for the playoffs. That's Elevate versus Hammer Time. After this, stay tuned.